Hello, everyone. Colleen Neal with Let's Talk About It. Today we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving holiday train wreck that I've experienced with vestibular migraine. Again, I talk to you from the patient's perspective, and this is about getting real with it. So I'm going to share my experience with the weekend that we just had. So Thursday was Thanksgiving. 20 people at my brother and sister-in-law's house. Every year, the three ladies split cooking, and my job was to cook one of the turkeys and mashed potatoes and take care of some other things. Of course, I had my kids at the house. I was very excited. Um, I do not take good enough care of myself going into that. I was very excited. I did not sleep enough. I definitely didn't drink enough water. Um, and I think Wednesday night going into it, I set myself up for what I would call a train wreck of a weekend. So, um, getting up Thursday morning again, I think I've talked to you guys before about how important it is for us with VM to get enough sleep. For me, I need 8 to 10 hours of sleep to function well. I've talked to you guys before about that window of energy that we have in any given day. Um, I need 8 to 10 hours minimum to function in a regular day. And usually in that regular day, I'm pretty much done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I need to lie down. That's in a regular day. That is slow, measured, all of that. And this is a holiday. So I didn't prepare myself. I was excited. I stayed up late. I actually had a couple glasses of wine the night before, which I don't drink normally. So I did not play well. And then in the morning, I got up early because the turkey had to be in the oven by 8. So I got myself up at 7, which I don't usually do that. And I started, getting things going. I'm lifting a heavy turkey. Um, and doing all those things. Get the turkey in the oven. I did not go back to sleep like I usually do. I started cleaning the house, getting other things ready, and did not lie down, did not rest. I drank some water, did not eat well that morning. Um, and I felt myself starting to get really tired. I did sit down for a little while, but I started kind of cleaning, and then I started getting other things ready for the other, rest of the day. And I just kind of continued. People started waking up in the house. I was excited to see them, um, all of those kinds of things. So as the morning went on, I felt myself getting more and more tired. I started losing my balance more. I started feeling nauseous. So I didn't want to eat. I just felt it going on and on more and more. Um, by the time 1 o'clock came around, I, did the mashed potatoes. I felt myself getting to the point where, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this. I started to feel like I was going to cry. I was definitely getting really bad headache. My vision was not good. I felt incredibly fatigued. Um, like this is not going to be good. Um, by the time my son and daughter-in-law left to go to my brother's house, I'd had the drinks ready for them, the mashed potatoes ready for them to go over. I knew that I was in trouble, and they were so kind and helpful. Um, and I said to them, I don't know if I'm going to make it to Thanksgiving. Um, I was having trouble standing at that point. Um, they had told me, Mom, go lie down and rest. I got my ice hat and I did that. Covered my face, ice hat, anything that I could do to figure out how am I going to handle this. The turkey was still in the oven, had a little bit. I'm like, okay, I think if I can keep the turkey in the oven for another half hour, um, get myself together, I think I might be able to do this. Um, so my younger son and daughter got me water. They're looking out for me, the whole thing. I said, you guys go and I'll call when, I need help. So I just stayed in the house with the dogs by myself and I just tried to rest. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to be around people. It was just one of those moments, and I'm sure you guys have been there. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. So I lie down for about, half hour, 35 minutes. I set an alarm. I called my nephew and my younger son to come over and help me with the turkey. My neck hurt. When they came over, I was so out of it. My neck hurt, my shoulders hurt, my head hurt. I was having trouble speaking. Like I was in it. Like I was full on in it. And I thought, oh gosh, what do I do? Do I not go to Thanksgiving? Can't not go to Thanksgiving, right? So now we have this dilemma. Do I not go? Oh, anyway, they helped me. There's no way I could lift the turkey out of the oven. So they helped me do that. The whole thing. They just helped me with all of it. I was in charge of the gravy. So I'm like trying to get the boys to, dump the drippings out and whatever. So they were so wonderful, got out. That helped me out of the house, helped me into the car. So I finally, we get to the house. And as soon as I walked in, I started to cry. So I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. I saw my sister-in-law. She hugged me, and I was like, I'm the helper. Like, I'm supposed to help. I'm supposed to help them cook. I'm supposed to help them get this all ready. And, my kids had already told them, like, Mom, it's not good. And of course, they were wonderful. They're like, you're going to sit down and like nothing. And of course, I like tried to fight a little bit. I was like, I couldn't. I'm like, I couldn't say hello to other people in the living room. It was awful. So I got some water, but people were really kind and wonderful. And then at one point, I couldn't even do that. And I'm like, and I told them, I'm like, I might need to lie down. I had to go up to my nephew's room and lie down. And I'm like, let me know when dinner's almost ready. Like, I just couldn't do it. And so eventually, anyway, long story short, I was able to sit down for dinner. I took some Imitrex, kind of got me through it a little bit. I could barely eat because I felt so sick. I didn't really participate in conversation very much because I didn't feel good. Um, you know, I didn't want to talk. I felt detached, all those things, right? But I was there. Towards the end of dinner, I started to feel a little bit better. And after dinner, I was really able just to really sit with my brother a little bit. We talked a little bit, and then I was able I kind of came out of it a little bit later. But it was a rough night. It was just like not great for me. Um, so I want to talk just about feeling bad. I felt bad for a little bit, and then, but to be honest, I was like, "There's nothing I could do about this. There's nothing I can do about this." I made it there. And you know what? If I couldn't have made it there, I couldn't have made it there. If I had to like stay home on my couch or lie in bed just to get through the day, that would have been it. I think we have to give ourselves grace with this because this stuff comes on and there's really not much you can do about it. Um, I owned it. I owned that I didn't sleep enough. I owned that I didn't treat my body right the night before, but it was like the holiday, like my kids were over, my friend came over, I had some wine, I stayed up too late, I didn't get enough sleep. I own that. At the same time, like I want to be social and I want to have a life and I pay the price for that. So like two things in a row, a Wednesday night and a Thursday, like it's almost impossible to do that. It's impossible to have that life. So that was the price I paid. And I'm not going to feel bad about that. It's like, it just sucks. It just sucks. It's just what it is. So um it was hard. I was emotional on Thursday. I felt bad, but like my sister-in-law was great and her sister-in-law, the three of us always cooked together. They were just wonderful. They were of course fantastic. They know what's going on with me. It's been going on for a year. So they were wonderful, of course. Um Everybody's so loving and so kind. And we talk about Thanksgiving, like I'm so grateful for that. I could cry. Like I'm so grateful that they're understanding of that and that I have a family that like they get it, they get it. And they were just glad that I was there. And no matter what condition I was in, they were grateful that I was there. The second thing I want to talk about is self-care. Like I needed to have taken better care of myself. Um, I probably should have thought that through when we were planning. We planned Thanksgiving this year, just like every other year. I didn't take into account the fact that I can't really function getting up at 6:30 or 7 in the morning and then actually having a whole holiday like that. Like I can't do that on a regular day. What was I thinking? I didn't take that into account. And I guess when we look at holidays and birthdays, we have to take into account that we're not our regular selves and that to have like a bigger day, we might not be able to do that. So I just thought, oh, well, it's what I always do every Thanksgiving. It's not every Thanksgiving anymore because I'm not the same me anymore. So I think I just have to handle that better. And I have to put self-care on my list. So I needed to have figured out a way to get my sleep in or something. Maybe I should have just put, like, I'll take care of the pies, not the turkey, not a 5 hour cook. Like, I don't know. So I got to think that through next time. Right. And then the self-care piece. Um, I don't know. I have to think that through what that should have looked like. But maybe the day before, I should have just rested all day and then I maybe staying up a little later would have been better. The third thing is social engagement. I think no matter what happens with us, whether we could attend Thanksgiving or not attend Thanksgiving, social engagement is important. As much as I suffered, that being with family and being with friends was really important to me. So it's kind of like that balance act, right? You know, that social engagement piece. Sometimes we're so alone when we're with this. Sometimes we're so alienated because of what we're going through that we don't get that social piece. We don't get to see people. We don't get to interact with people. So sometimes, in order to get the social engagement, we do pay a price. We pay a physical price. Um, for me, sometimes I'm willing to pay that price. I know if I see people, I'm going to pay for it. I might pay for a week. Um, but sometimes that social engagement, just for the mental piece and filling up my love tank, paying the price is sometimes worth it. But we have to kind of maybe titrate that, so we're not really beating up our brains. And the other part I think is keeping track of our symptoms. I think as that day went on, I don't think I realized how bad I was on a scale of 1 to 10 until I was like at a 6. Until it got like it got really bad. I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. So 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I think I was having symptoms, but I like wasn't really paying attention to them and really like giving them really the attention that I should have and maybe dealt with them then. It wasn't until like noon and they were hitting me like at a 6 or a 7 and hitting me hard, like where I was like really not even able to walk right or stand right. I was like, oh, like almost in the middle of like it was an attack. I was like, oh no, like it was bad and getting worse, like almost too far gone. That's when I started paying attention to my symptoms. When really probably around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I should have been like when it was at a 3 or 4, I should have been like, ooh, hey, you're feeling a little this, you're feeling a little that. Like when I started to have the initial balance problems and I started to have like the zaps, like the head zaps, I really probably should have paid attention then and started to deal with it. Maybe I should have taken my emergency medication then. Maybe I should have like really upped, the water and maybe some electrolytes then. Maybe I should have taken 20 minutes to lie down. Maybe I should have started icing my head every 20 minutes then. I didn't. I'm like, oh, put the Macy's parade on. Make sure the kids have coffee. Hey, maybe I should. Oh, anybody want an omelet? Like I was just so busy being like Susie homemaker, and wanting to be the normal mom that I just blew it off. And because I blew it off, I got to a 6 and 7, and it was like, whoa, like tidal wave of symptoms, and it was almost too far gone. So I think we have to be really careful when we get to holidays and stuff like that, that we don't like just start dealing with stuff when it's at a 6 or 7. So the other part of my weekend that made it a train wreck is that I got some really bad news about my job, and I got it like I read it Thursday night, and basically said I'm going to be losing my job because of this situation, my position, and it is what it is. I'm on disability, so it's like I'm losing my position. So I was devastated. So on top of so now it's Thanksgiving. I'm a mess. I read this letter that I got a couple days later, and I read it when I get home. So now it's like midnight. I read this thing. I'm a wreck. I'm a mental wreck. I'm crying. I'm a mess. I don't sleep at all that whole night, like at all, not a wink. I'm looking up, court cases. I'm disability. I'm imagining cleaning out my office, and I've been with my partners for 6 years. I'm just devastated, right? My career is just over, and is this going to be my life? Like just all the things, right? And I'm going to say this again: get a counselor, guys, because you know what I'm going to do with my counselor for a whole hour? I'm going to be a sobbing mess, and I'm going to have to process the fact that I'm losing, you know, my position that I've held. And I thought for the next 15 years, this is the position I'm going to have. And it's gone. And that was the punch in the face that I got after Thanksgiving. So there's my train wreck. So now Friday, I come downstairs and my daughter-in-law's down here and I'm crying. And so she's hugging me. Thank God they were here. I'm crying to her and I'm trying to get it together and I want to be, Miss Positive and everything. No, so my head's a mess. My eyes hurt. I'm crying. I'm sad. And I'm pissed off, because Thanksgiving was. So now I'm a bigger train wreck, right? And I want to decorate the house, but I can't because I don't feel good, right? It's just terrible. So listen, we all have these times, right? So at the end of the day, I was able to kind of get to some point where I'm like, you have to put it aside for a minute and just say, listen, I'm just going to have to slay one dragon at a time here. Very good friend of mine gave me that piece of advice. You can only slay one dragon at a time. That's it. I knew I had an appointment with my doctor Monday for my occipital neuralgia, and I'm going to be talking about a freaking surgery. I'm like, I got to put this work stuff in a box, right? I'll deal with that later. I got a counselor. We'll deal with that later. I don't know about disability. I don't know about my pension. I don't know about my 401k. I got to deal with some money stuff later. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just too much. Right now, my freaking head hurts. My eyeballs hurt. I need to sleep. I don't know what's going on. But right now, it's one thing at a time. My kids are here. I need to focus on them. Let's try to have a good day. I don't know. Let's make some gingerbread houses. Let me do what little I can do today. So I know a lot of you say, is it ever going to be normal? I don't know. Maybe not. But you know what? You take a little piece at a time. And I always say to you, don't make a list of 5 things a day. Make it a list of 2 and make one of them a good thing. My daughter, I'm like, hey, she's like, hey, do you want to sing karaoke? And in my head, I'm like, no, I freaking don't, because it's going to be loud and it's going to hurt. But then I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Put the karaoke on the TV. And she gave me a pen. I go, what's the pen for? She goes, that's your microphone, Mom. I'm like, okay. I can't sing to save my life, but you know what we did? She put karaoke on the TV, and my son, and my daughter-in-law, and my daughter, and me, we sang karaoke. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? We have our family. You have your family. And you know what? Was I standing up singing karaoke? No. Was I sitting up singing karaoke? No. I was lying down on my pillow and I had ice on my head, but I was singing karaoke with my kids. So you do what you can do. And then I took some medicine and I went to bed. That's what my Friday night was. So it's going to be fine, one thing at a time. So I think the holiday was a train wreck for me. It was a really difficult weekend, but I actually wrote a note to my kids. I did end up actually seeing some college friends, which was also filled up my love tank, and thank God for them. But I wrote a note to my kids when I left because they were sleeping when I left. And I said, I thank God for you guys. And I'm so glad you're here because I got the worst news ever this weekend and I was a mess. But I was so happy to get the worst news ever when you guys were here because I was able to have my family around me to support me and be with me when I was completely sad and having the hardest time. What better time to get crappy news than when you have your people with you? So my weekend and holiday was a train wreck, but I had my people. So I think we just have to count our blessings. So anyway, the message of today, holiday train wreck, is one, Count your blessings. And two, you can only slay one dragon at a time. So I will see you in the next one.